All right. Hi, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope and pray to the Lord above that you're doing well. If y'all didn't know, the incredible Daft Punk album, Random Access Memories, it's been 10 years since the release of that album. And to celebrate that wonderful record, the boys have seen fit to release a little extended edition of the album with the second disc of material. This new edition of the album features 9 extra tracks it did not before, which are essentially a range of different things, covering a lot of different bases, and they are essentially as follows. 1. The Horizon Overture, which is this really elegant string and choral opening of the second disc. It's moving, it's pristine, makes me feel like I'm about to watch Daft Punk's funeral with the robots' caskets being lowered into the ground. It's kind of sad and devastating. Short but potent. Then there's 2, the actual song Horizon, which is included with the Japan CD of Random Access Memories, which is also an instrumental cut, a slowly building, synth-heavy, kind of new agey jam with a kind of epic finish. It sounds like a triumphant moment out of an 80s action movie where the hero has returned a little battered up and bruised, but like lessons were learned and the bad guy was defeated. Number 3, we have instrumental outtakes from Give Life Back to Music, which is my favorite song on the record. So honestly, hearing, a bit of a stripped back instrumental version with some extra grooves. It's a bit jammier. There's some hand claps, a sick piano solo, and a sick bass solo. Especially a treat for me. Again, I love that tune. I love that groove. I love that instrumental. To hear it just kind of presented in a different, funkier, kind of more extended light. Ultimately, cool thing. Nice. Awesome. Dank. Number 4, there's the Infinity Repeating 2013 demo featuring Julian Casablancas and also The Voids, which is kind of odd because this demo was allegedly tracked before The Voids had even released their first formal single. What musical and instrumental contributions The Voids bring to the table, I'm not entirely sure, as instrumentally and aesthetically. This track sounds much like everything else on Random Access Memories in terms of the drums and guitars sounding very pristine, very clean. There is a bit of a Latin flair to the beat, and that kind of sets it apart from everything else. What is for sure, though, Julian Casablancas' vocals are on it. There are a few, what I would say are flubs here and there. However, it is labeled as a demo. I guess I don't really expect it to be perfect. With it being a demo, the song also sounds pretty skeletal, kind of stripped back. Maybe a final version of this thing would feel less redundant or could have had a bigger finish. However, it's pretty clear one of the reasons that did not happen is that Instant Crush, the other Julian Casablancas track that actually made it onto the record, is the far superior song. Not sure the robots needed to double up. Number 5, we have a Get Lucky early take, which, I don't know, in terms of labeling is a little disappointing. I don't know why this is added to the record. It's really just like a 32-second intro to, a bit of a groove, a loop, the chord progression played through a time from Get Lucky. Like, is this really all that there was in terms of Get Lucky? There wasn't anything else. There weren't any other extra jams or, instrumental bits or something, even like a demo or something like that. You couldn't add anything other than this 30-second little snippet. That's all. Daft Punk really threw a preview onto this thing, and they're just like calling it a track. Following this at 6, we have Prime, an unfinished piece that was tracked in 2012, which is a decent electro disco fusion. Another instrumental piece too, with some epic strings and key layers. It delivers a groovy and cinematic progression for about 5 minutes. I do think it is one of the better pieces on the entire project and entertaining for the time that it lasts. 7, some Lose Yourself to Dance vocoder tests come through. If you've ever wanted to hear this track in a stripped back state that allows you to pretty much hear the vocals in the raw, in the nude, especially those Daft Punk vocoders, then this is basically what you're going to want to listen to. As is number 8, the writing of Fragments of Time. If you guys really enjoyed the track Giorgio by Marauder on the record where essentially, Giorgio tells you the whole story of how he was producing his music back in the day, his Italo disco, electro fusion stuff. I think you'll get a bit of a kick out of this track. And while, yes, it's not like literal commentary about a musical movement or era or, breaking ground with a particular sound, it is music and commentary on literally creating the song Fragments of Time in real time, with Todd Edwards talking about his performance and trying different licks and inflections and going into the lyrics with Daft Punk and the inner meaning of the song, with the verse portion of the instrumental looping underneath. It is the longest extra on this project by far, standing at 8 minutes in length. So you are really getting immersed into the process of Todd Edwards doing almost a trial and error thing in the moment, just finding out again what works, what doesn't, and just considering how long the process kind of takes here and how much we're kind of getting thrown into the process. It just makes me wonder how much stuff like this is there left over on the cutting room floor that we're not hearing. It's to hear, maybe Get Lucky run through in a similar way could have been interesting. And then finally, number 9, to end things off, we have a 2021 epilogue to the song Touch, which is essentially an instrumental extension of the stellar album track, with some grand string passages and choral passages and synth arpeggio sequences. And hearing the musical themes of the track presented in this way as the closer of this disc is kind of haunting, to be honest, especially when the choral vocals are presented in the nude. Yeah, overall, that is the rundown for the extra disc on this Daft Punk Random Access Memories expanded 10th anniversary edition. I think it's a cool little handful of extras. I just wish there was more. Maybe the bots will double down for the 20th anniversary edition. I guess we'll find out, won't we? I guess we will find out. But, what little we have here is what we have for now. It is cool. It is beautiful. It is interesting, and certainly provides, I think, a bit of artistic insight to the record. Happy 10 years for R.A.M. You're the best. Mwah. Love you. Appreciate you watching. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Daft Punk, forever.